All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. We missed the watch list yesterday. I was a little tired. I'm even a little tired right now, but we got a big day tomorrow, and I think that Wall Street is sleeping on it. So we had a very interesting day today. Oh, that's me. Hello, nice to meet you. But we had a very interesting day today. There was a lot of headlines back and forth about peace, the war, and all sorts of things. I'm telling you, it was very wild going back and forth. However, you should probably notice that we absolutely went nowhere, and this is ahead of a big event tomorrow, so I think this is very important. We ended the streak of back-to-back green days. It only lasted for 2 days, and now tomorrow we have Powell. I have a preview for you, and I do want to zoom out a little bit and talk about what you guys need to be looking out for, because I got this question a lot today, and I think it is very crucial. So we're going to go over Powell. I'm going to tell you one major thing to be looking for tomorrow, because in a weird way, I'm going to just tell you now, I kind of think Powell is trapped. And everybody's kind of downplaying it. So we're going to go over that. If you are watching the recap, what's going to happen, I'm going to say what's up to my bros. We're going to say what's up to the live. We're going to get into the keys. And then it's going to take me about like 30 minutes. And after that, that will be your normal watch list. Everything after that is just going to be us chilling, answering questions or anything of that way. So if you are watching this hour video and you're like, Josh, I'm not going to watch an hour, you don't have to watch an hour. I'm hoping we could get this Powell knocked out and you will be prepared for tomorrow, and you should have at least one thing to look for. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you 2 things, one word that you need, and it could change everything. Oh, yeah, and you're going to hear it tomorrow. I'm telling you, baby. So, that being said, what's good, baby? I'm good. I went to the gym. I got a workout in. I just wanted to take a nap after the workout, and I was going to take the nap, and then I started looking at all of my notes for Powell, and I'm like, damn, Powell about to be crazy tomorrow. But so we had to talk about it. What up, Malcolm? What up, Joey? Ryan? Tim Whitman, baby? Alex Enzo. It's funny. You see that tweeter? The guy tweeted you back, Tim Whitman, and he was like, if Josh actually looks like that and I meet him, it's funny because I look like that. That's why I'm like, they have no idea, bro. Tim Whitman, I don't know if Tim Whitman, I haven't even met Tim Whitman. I'm going to FaceTime you one day, Tim Whitman. I don't know. Do you answer? I feel like you do even answer FaceTimes, Tim Whitman? I feel like you'd be like, no, it's technically, they could hack you. I've seen you a few times. What up, Dago? What up, baby Dago? Tell Arthur what up. I don't think he understands English yet because he's like 3 months old or something, but he got a fucking law term. That's my guy. Bleep out the cuss words. Don't teach him that at a young age. My mom told me not to cuss. I still ended up like a sailor. What up, Prabhu? What up, Brian? What up, BC? So, Chatadonia, we'll kick it here a little bit afterwards. But that being said, let us talk a little bit about tomorrow, today, and the broader picture. I would love to go over today and explain to you all the pops and drops and the premium and all of that. But quite frankly, I don't think it is as important. I think the fact that today was so calm, it wasn't calm. The movement was calm. It tells you something, and I think that signals a little bit for what we're going to be dealing with. And quite simply, I don't know how many times I can remind you this, you are not out of the woods just yet. Tomorrow, there is low expectations for Jerome Powell. People are really not expecting him to change much. However, the last time that happened, there was a major shift in the dot plot. So this is the point that I want you to understand. Zoom out. Don't forget what we are going through. This recent volatility is very real. Something has happened recently. I don't know what it was. They tried the tariff inflation narrative, but then the whole oh my gosh, the economy is going to collapse, be very, very afraid of the recession, and then the weak data, that hit. And you now are going through a lot of volatility, from everything from DeepSeek down to the politics, the firing, you name it, man. There's a lot, and this is what I'm saying. Even with the momentum, one of the fastest corrections, the way you're moving, the CTAs, take all of the factors you want. Whether you understand it or not, it's very simple. We are going to either have a mega rally off of the 200-day average like we have done at every other critical juncture in the last half a decade where this has happened. Otherwise, you are not going to see a new high for the end of the year. Do you all understand that? I think people need to get this because every little bounce, every little drop, people are getting really jumpy and they're like, oh, it's this, it's that. Are we this? Are we that? Are we this? Why are we up? Why are we up? It doesn't matter. All that matters is this, because this is where the money's going to come from, the major moves, the real repositioning, like whether you have that major bounce or literally no highs for the end of the year or this whole year, that would fully change the dynamic. And like I'm saying, you have a couple of weird things going on right now, and I've been documenting it. That's kind of the beauty of this channel. We get to follow through with it. It's not just so I could be like, I told you, look at the watch this. It's because we have it documented, and the whole point is, like, I've been showing you the skew, and we've been looking and comparing this to the other cycles and other moves that we have gotten in the past, and now, like I'm saying, there's a couple more factors, and one of them is you have real volatility. And then there is something beyond the skew that has to do with the VIX. So here is a quote. This is from your boy Michael Hartnett. And I think I like Michael Hartnett. He has been very bullish and bearish at various times. You might have heard the name over the years. He's a Bank of America or Morgan Stanley analyst. He's very well regarded. But I'll show you the accompanying chart for this quote. But recently, you have just gone through the second biggest drop in global growth expectations ever, the biggest drop in U.S. equity allocation ever, the biggest jump in cash allocation since March of 2020, COVID, stagflation, trade war, end of U.S. exceptionalist drive. There was a bull crash in the fund manager survey sentiment. So they have been surveying these managers. And like I'm saying, is it one thing about the media? Is it one thing about, who believes the narratives or not? Fact of the matter is that is permeated to Wall Street and fund managers. So this is the chart that it's showing here. All of a sudden, in this last 2 weeks, you're kind of getting used to it because it's been a little bit more time, but you were going through this volatility within about 2 weeks. And this is kind of highlighting that this wasn't really some sort of fluke. So that means we got to work up to the rally if we're going to get that. Otherwise, the groundwork is laid where some of this stuff, you might not be able to reverse it as easily now. Do you get what I'm saying? The well is being poisoned, more or less. You have sentiment actually souring, and I don't think you guys have witnessed that for a while. So that's chart number one. And now, I'll show you this one. It's kind of unrelated, but it has to do with the decline right now. This is the Mag 7 chart. It is the cheapest since about like 2020, 2022, based on a price to earnings ratio. But point is, you're getting a multi-year discount on the Mag 7 just simply based off of price to earnings. However, that's not necessarily the cheapest. So, like I said, I don't think it's a real Black Friday deal. I think it's a modern Black Friday deal. You get a little bit of a discount, and that's where I'm saying the sentiment, the groundwork is laid for either a real big rally or a real big decline, which is broadly all we kind of care about here. So that was the other chart, but now here's the real big one I want to show you because, like I'm saying, sentiment and what we're going through now, and even Powell, this might be, it makes sense. I was telling you guys, and you've seen this in the past. How many times have you gone through big volatility and then Powell comes in and either saves the day or kills you? Most of the time, Powell saves the day. The year was 2022 where he actually beat you with a stick. Do you guys remember that? It was actually right here, Jackson Hole. It was right around here. Because you had this rally, then we started declining, and you had a big, big decline. And then people are like, no, Powell's good. And then Powell literally beat you with a stick. That's literally what I remember calling it. It was crazy. It was like Powell throwing the shoe, the chancla, the hang. I'm telling you, vicious of him at the moment. But other than that, that's where I'm saying, we got to kind of watch, these sentiment moves. But here's the chart. I think this chart is fascinating, to be honest with you. This is the VIX in light purple overlaid with Google trend searches for recession. So going back to 2007, Google searches popped. The VIX was already elevated. It came back down. 1 year and a half, 2 years later, you had an actual recession. 2019, end of 2019, you had a pop. The VIX went up. This was the repo crisis. This is where I always would tell you guys, when I always tell you, I'm like, 2018 was wild, man. Some people don't get that, even coming into the end of 2019. So there wasn't a recession, but a spike. And then in COVID, you actually had a recession, and an actual recession. 2022, you had last time when Powell, literally the most searches of recession, and then it came down. And then now, what do you guys notice? March 2025, Google trends for recession have exploded. So do you guys see what I'm saying? Exploded. So do you guys see what I'm saying? So from fund managers to damn Google and like, oh, wait, the wire is in the way. So from fund managers to literally like the normies. I don't know what to tell you, bro. But do you see what I'm saying? It is the sentiment. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's propaganda. I'm telling you it worked. It doesn't matter. Now we're too late. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop it, unfortunately. Because you got, this chart is wild. You're only 8% from the highs. So that means 8% from record highs. You have more people searching recession than they did prior to the whole economy getting shut down, more than any collapse between 2010 and 2019, almost a whole decade. Not one set of, again, this is what I was showing you with some of the other stuff, uncertainty. But do you see how this is starting to play out? So sentiment is there, and that's why I'm saying now we'll see where Powell factors into all of this. And now let's get a little bit deeper into it, because here's the weird part. The last couple weeks, we went through some very weird shifts. Do you guys remember I was telling you the rate cut odds? So right as we were dumping last week, a week and a half ago, into the first like set of fresh lows when the VIX was just rocketing, do you guys remember when the rate cut odds went up to 4? And then all of a sudden, you may have heard people saying that now the rate cuts are priced into May or June. And then people are like 4 rate cuts now for the end of the year. Does that sound familiar? So here's the deal. That whole conversation, that is going to come up tomorrow during Powell, because Powell has to address this. There's no way. That's what everybody cares about. How does this economic uncertainty, tariff uncertainty, reciprocals, consumer sentiment uncertainty, you name it, all of this, is this going to lead to the Fed expecting more or less rate cuts by the end of the year? And that's what I'm saying. We played, and then when are we going to get any sort of cuts, if so? So here's the odd part. After all this freak out, if you haven't noticed in the last couple of days, the VIX has dropped. So the VIX is literally back to 21, which is not bad at all. Like, actually, that's like, it's actually insane. Once again, the VIX has kind of died, even though you still have this elevated volatility and you are in a correction, literally. But not only do you have that, the rate cut odds now, believe it or not, are at 2.5. So now the bond market is only pricing in 2.5 cuts with the TLT holding, long end holding, and then the first cut is pushed to September as of today. So coming into tomorrow, after all this volatility, right now the market is pricing first cut in September in 2.5. So in a very odd way, despite this volatility, the market isn't far away from what Powell and the Fed said last time, because that's why tomorrow is going to be important. The summary of economic projections, we are going to get that rate cut odds and see how that, not the odds, but where the Fed thinks the terminal rate will be. So here's the thing, though. With that being said, how is Powell and the Fed going to address all this uncertainty, from trade and politics to consumer slowing down, firing, all of this, right? I think tomorrow is going to be bad no matter what. I know. That's what I was here to tell you. So I hope I'm wrong, but hear me out. And I have a way out of it, essentially. So I hope you don't stop listening there, because that would be a damn shame. But simply, I think tomorrow has a higher propensity to just end up negative no matter what. Why? Because the statement and the dot plot are going to reflect uncertainty. So the market might be ready for it, but then again, right when we see it, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you may tell your girl it's okay if she posts those pictures, but it hurts you every time you see it. That's how the market is. So be careful. But this is what I'm trying to say, because I think right when the statement comes out with the summary of economic projections, it's going to literally, like, it's going to say higher rates possibly, less rate cuts. They're not going to change the statement from last time, and it was a hawkish statement, if you recall. So it's either going to stay the same at minimum, or it's going to get more hawkish, trying to address a consumer slowdown, job market, and then now tariffs and all of these other reactions. So the way to address it, it all sounds like it's going to read uncertain. This SEP, if it has less rate cuts, that'll be uncertain. And then, think about it, usually if the statement is hawkish, Powell usually comes up and then he, like, soothes everybody. But I don't think Powell could be too dovish. Why? Because if he gets too dovish, he might get involved. I don't think Powell wants to reveal his card. I don't think Powell wants to reveal panic. I don't think Powell wants you to know how he feels. I think he wants to be hands off. So ideally, nothing is ideally, this is what I'm trying to tell you. The ideal situation is nothing happens, right? And this is what I'm telling you right now. Everybody on Wall Street, they're really not expecting much out of Powell. So all I'm saying is just keep your head on a swivel and just be prepared for a rug pull. Because like I said, I think upside, I don't think it's going to catch you off guard. If Powell ends up good and it leads to a multi-day rally after being down 10%, even you could be late and still tag along and make money. You get what I'm saying? But I think all you got to watch out for tomorrow is a rug pull. And it's very simple, though, because there's still an exit. I hope you guys see what is highlighted. So, in my mind, I see all of this kind of being communicated as negative no matter what. Are you following? But also in my mind, there's another factor which Powell kind of mentioned in March, and he did mention it before, that even if everything is bad, without Powell getting involved and with Powell sticking to this script, not revealing any cards, he could unleash dovishness or bullishness through one thing and one thing only. What is it? It's right in front of you, so I'm not really good at hiding it. Yes. Quantitative tightening. That right there will be your bullish exit for tomorrow. I.e., if the dot plot reads hawkish, if the statement reads hawkish, we're pricing in about 1.5% for tomorrow. Let's say you start moving down, right? And then halfway through the press conference, you know, they address it, or even on this statement, if they address quantitative tightening, that will be the subtle bull of tomorrow. And that's what I'm saying here. Although I could see it being read as bearish, if they, you know, they're going to communicate uncertainty, if they think now is a good time to unleash and say, hey, we're ending quantitative tightening. Remember, we talked, this is what started the last bond rally. Do you guys not remember? Oh, y'all don't feel me. See, that's why I'm like, I can't believe I don't remember certain, like, chapters of a book, but then I'll remember the weirdest of events. You guys don't remember the Fed minutes mentioning quantitative tightening in March or June? And that's what low-key started all of the rally before any fear or anything. That went hand in hand with it. So keep that in, and then think about it. Rate cut odds chilled out, but bonds are long end of the curve is still up. So that's your secret for tomorrow. I really think so. Because like I'm saying, everybody's downplaying Powell. People have overlooked a lot of things, but realistically, I think, because like I'm saying, it's going to be uncertain. maybe everybody's prepared for it or not. But when it's all said and done, the way to change like some of the narrative, the real exit of all of this, if it's not going to be the same negative or what, it's going to be quantitative tightening and them kind of announcing an end to this. And yeah, now I think that'll give us something. So tomorrow, listen for it on the statement, on the dot plot, or through the summary of economic projections, but especially the press conference. If you hear them, or if you hear Powell saying, yeah, we're ending quantitative tightening, or, we're going to do it next meeting, we think it's time, that should give you a bull candle for a little bit. That's a really good thing because remember, quantitative tightening, that adds less pressure to the bonds. And then what's the next step? If you stop quantitative tightening, you could do nothing, but then the next step is quantitative easing. The market loves crack. So there you go. Ta-da! They're not buying anything. They're tightening. So they're going to end the quantitative tightening program. So what they've been doing since 2022 as part of the rates and the slowdown in inflation, when they get a bond maturity, instead of buying more bonds like they have been doing for the other prior decades, they would just let the bonds mature and would not roll it over. So every month, there was littler and littler demand coming from the Fed to the bond market. Meanwhile, Janet Yellen wanted to dump a lot of money on you. So hence what happened to the bond market. But yeah, so like I said, ideal situation, nothing happens. Be prepared for any rug pull. The beauty is I will be there live tomorrow. So I'll try to get some good rest and we'll see. The Zaza's only pricing in 2.5. That's why it's weird. Because I'm saying after all of that stuff, it has came back down. So we will see. But now, let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, Chad, I only have one play and one play only. Are you ready? Powell walks out with QT ending. Oh, you think? I think it's his secret weapon. I think that's Powell's parachute to become a bull without ever saying a word. But I feel you, bro. We'll see. I don't know. Powell's a weird guy. But then again, Powell ends in, actually, Powell only has 8 months? No, he has 11 months. I forgot. February 2016. You guys know that? 2016, 2026. Oh, man. But play number one. I only have one play for today. So we had a lot of plays today. I hit really good individual ones, but my SPY plays, the plays are working for a little bit. I should have taken profits, but the thing about today, the premiums were moving, but then they just ran out the clock. So every move up or down, the premiums were responding great. It wasn't one of those days where every premium looked the same, just getting slashed, but you went nowhere. So for hours at a time, you stayed within a 1-point range. Literally, if you were scalping futures or options, you had to scalp it. Otherwise, there just wasn't enough juice. The play is not wing it, no. So it's very simple. If Powell claps everything tomorrow, the VIX. And then again, with everybody, I think Powell will be the confirmation. You got to realize, like I said, we've seen this before. We've seen it where you have big volatility and come into a Powell, and now it's a summary of economic projections. So if he drops the ball with more hawkishness, again, they kind of surprise everybody. I think the VIX is going to rock it. Everyone's going to keep searching recession as well. It could be TLT as well, but that might get interrupted because of depending on what the summary of economic projection says, right? So what if they factor in rate hikes, hypothetically? You see what I'm saying? TLT won't move, or TLT will get confused tomorrow. That's why I'm saying I think the VIX will actually be the answer, or you just go for the indexes. Maybe the dollar as well, we'll see, but that's something, unless it's clear-cut lower rates, I'd be a little cautious there with the bonds. So other than that, I think it's going to be the VIX. And again, if Powell isn't bad and then the VIX, you got to think about it. If Powell's not bad and we start to get a little steam, even the earnings on Thursday, if the VIX starts plummeting again, that might open up the door for that seasonal bottom, and then we go from there and see what happens. But Chad Adonia, That was 25 minutes. So I will leave it there for the guys watching the recap. Before we talk about anything else, is there any questions related to Jerome Powell tomorrow and what we just went over? Now is your time. Oh, I need to blow my nose. Please hold. Bro, I got one of them, like, hard boogers. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, one of them, like, it feels like I got a cut in my nose, but it's just like a hard booger. I hate it. It hurts. The Qs could be a play. I played those today. I think, again, depending on what it is. I think the dot plot, that's going to be the summary of economic projections. So right now, I think it's going to be plus or minus 0.5, essentially. Half a cut. Maybe one cut. So right now, I think maybe worst case, you get 3 rate cuts for the end of the year, or 3 rate cuts or 1, essentially. Right now, the Fed's at 2, and I think they left it like that for that reason, but I think you can get a surpriser, but I think really what's going to matter more will be the quantitative tightening, and then even then, if the dot plot goes higher, if they say higher terminal rates, less rate cuts, I don't think the market's going to take it too well. And that would be all of these fears kind of getting cemented into the Fed's next, quarter pretty much. The Japan rate decision, it could have an effect, but the guidance. So not the actual action, but whatever he guides to. And if he starts getting aggressive like some of the American people, a.k.a. Powell. No oil play? No, but there was a lot of uncertainty. The Houthi attack, Israel messed up the ceasefire, and then the peace stuff got in the way. But oil's not, I don't want to be in the middle of oil. Oil, it's the opposite of when Joe Biden was messing with oil. With all the other stuff, but there's too much going on there. So as long as oil stays low, I'm not too worried. But then again, people are tying in the low oil to the demand crash. His tie color? I think he's going to wear green. I don't think he's ever wore green, but everybody has been on the St. Patrick's wave. Always purple. He does like it. Can we get a mini philo to rebuke the demons? I mean, life and death. Choose life. That's it. I don't know what to tell you except for be intentional. Get what you want. And that's it, though. Just if you play with the wolves, they'll eat you. But you can't cry wolf if they eat you. You must either die or live. Those are the only options. And I like them. Anything but uneasy. Anything but the middle, baby. Anything but doing nothing. The best books to know economics. Political Economy is a good one. And just like history, man. Because that's what economics really is, and like political economy. But, no understanding how just trade works at a rational level. Understand rationality. I think that's always, because you could read a lot of books. I mean, again, you hear me talking about a lot of things. These motherfuckers read books. But, that's like the beauty, the thing about nowadays, a lot of things are subjective, and, the world is changed in many beautiful and terrible ways, and you could apply things. That's why I've been always saying, like, you got to really, there is tried and true, and there is certain concepts that always remain. The world is new, but money and the system of money exchange and all that, and trade and balances, I mean, that's existed from the beginning of time, more or less. And then, blocks from the 70s to the 40s of what our modern era of money is. The period of when to make money. Yeah, isn't it like a chart, and it has like years, and it's like 7 years this and that? I just think if you long term, you'll make money, and then buy houses, and then buy companies, and then save 10%, and then grow your earnings and put them into safe investments to further grow them. It's a journey. Shows run up till 2026. Yeah, it has the dates. I think I've seen that. I remember in 2020, everybody kept circulating that chart. Is Austin, Texas getting better? I mean, a couple places have gotten like a little better with the recent like decline, but it's not it's still like just real estate has changed a lot as of late. It's just not the same. It's still like awkward. You're not like you're transitioning to a buyer's market, but there's still the remnants of the seller's market. Utah is great if you get near the skiing places. Utah was great when it was really cheap. It's just expensive now. But they have really hot tourism spots. Off market in Florida. I'll check it. I got some good ones today. And then I don't know, we're going to see. I got a really weird Airbnb offer. So it was actually through Lending Tips. He put me in touch with this guy. So we're going to see. He offered me the best deal. It's all too good to be true. The last time, bro, somebody came to me with one of these too good to be true ass deals, and I told y'all, remember the Bitcoin shit? And then Bitcoin fucking 10x'd. No exaggeration. So I don't know. But yeah, this one seems good. So I had a lot of real estate deals, but good. I don't know, bro. I need to find out. We got to see Elon. Oh, I want to either wrap the car with Elon, but I might do it. I want to make a video. I think I'm going to wrap every one of my cars with Elon Musk. And then the First Amendment. And then I'm going to say, Elon, thank you, Elon. I'm a totally fanboy, but then I want to park it in downtown and film it and see. Do you think people will destroy it? But otherwise, we got to figure it out. But, like, I was thinking about it, bro. If you get me, like, I need to do the math. It all depends on the size of the deals. But, bro, you get me 5, 10 real estate deals that I actually close on, I will just buy you a fucking car. Any car you want. Okay? And then if you get a really big one, I'll just buy you a house or give you one of mine. But, yeah, we got to figure, because I saw some guy do this for real estate. No, for real. I saw somebody do this. I was tripping out. I was like, how? And he was literally giving cars away for wholesale deals. And I was like, say less, bro. Say less. But, yeah, either way. But, yeah, so I don't know, get some real estate deals. And if you still want that membership, it's been about a month or two. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. You tell me. Looking for off market, man. Is there? I like long terms. Yeah, I sold the last one, and then I have that other one we were gonna give away, or we were trying to. But now I might use it as Elon propaganda. Put Target logos. That's crazy. But yeah, I prefer long-term rentals to Airbnbs. It's a lot better. Long-term rentals are just, you get less money, but it's not it's so much less to deal with. Like, Airbnb is great when it works, but like I've had squatters at my Airbnbs. I had a kid doing whippets, try to flush a screwdriver down the toilet. I had a Saudi prince throw a party and use the mattress as an ashtray. What else? I had a lady have a heart attack. I had somebody light a room on fire. I had a tenant get arrested. What else? Yeah, just give me a minute. I have a couple more. Some on camera, some not. But yeah, these are just random ass Air. So Airbnb, you just got random ass shit, bro. But you make way more money. So I'm telling you, it's not like liability. You just have to deal with it. It's not even like like literally none of that cost me any more money or exposed me to like any liability, but it's just annoying. So like the house would get lit on fire, I couldn't rent it out for a couple weeks, right? Like somebody has a medical issue, you got to go and do you have to send the manager. So I guess I have to pay the manager a little bit more. But yeah, like the mattress shit, I got a good insurance payment from Airbnb. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, I had a weird offer for it, but if you have a good area, you get a good manager on there, Airbnb will be good for a little bit. And you could do it for a long time and it'll be great, but that's pretty much it. Have I had a tenant sue you? Yeah, in California all the time. It's usually like it just ends with like nothing or arbitration or it's just like pointless. But yeah, I know I stole the Gucci flip flops from the Whippet kid. A little prick. Airbnb sounds good in theory. No, it's good. I think it's good for some people, depending on where you're at. But like I'm saying, you make a lot more money. Like, I don't know how to. I'm telling you, the numbers are ridiculous comparatively. You can never make that on a normal rental property. But like I'm saying, you just gotta like. I haven't even mentioned the customer service. That's why you just get a good manager. There's people who are fucking ready for this shit. They live for Airbnb hosting. That's why you get a good manager. You got nothing to worry about. But because you got to think about like the people like who are like, hi, how come the towels aren't warm? How come the window has a screen on it? You said that there were 7 towels. There's not. I can't shit on the bed sheets. That's stupid. So that's the other part. I mean, the rents, it all depends on the area, dude. Like, I have one of my main Airbnb. This thing makes like 300, 400% the mortgage, like consistently for several years now. I snagged it at a low price, but it's just one of those areas where like nobody would live there for the long term. So like nobody wants to like live there long term. Like no one's gonna rent. Like so the long term rental is very, very low priced. So it's just so much easier. I book it out for 2 weekends. I make the mortgage, and then every weekend after that or any weekday is just all pure profit. It's actually nuts. You can't buy leap calls. I mean, it's you make the same amount of money. It's not like it grows a little bit, but it's already such a high margin. It just stays relatively high. So it's like a value stock. It's like a good value stock, good fixed margin. That one just pays, bro. What do you do for it? I don't do anything. They sent me pictures the other day because it was snowing. That was it. And I'm like, ooh, I want to go. That's it. I don't do shit. I have no idea what's happening with it. I just get deposits in my bank account. That's all. And then they take my mortgage payment from that account, and then the payment goes to that account. The person gets their cut. They barely bother me unless something bad happened. But then even then, they'll usually fix it. Hope you doing good, baby. Good evening. I need to take a nap. I think at this point I'm just going to go to bed. It's not a nap. But yeah. The State Farm is a hearing to get a 22% increase. Oh, man. Okay, wait till they start increasing the insurance on Teslas. Because it's a risk. Bro, it's crazy. I'm telling you, bro. I want to do it. I want to videotape it. I made it. Well, I think we're about to wrap up. I know Elon might be the only way to do it. Airbnb property managers take like 10 to 15%. I've seen some people take 20, but yeah. It just all depends on how hands-on they are. And then you got to pay the cleaners too. And then you got to furnish it. I'll see if you guys want. Let me see, man. If I could see what's going to happen with this one guy. I think it's a scam, but if it works, I might have one for you. We'll see if you want to try it. This guy's trying to offer me a bunch of subleases at a very low price. So he's pretty much offering me like 70 units at a quarter of the rent. And I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm like, of course I'll take it, but I don't believe him. So that's why they're saying it's rentals, but you could sublease them. No. So I don't believe it though. So I said I'll go see it this weekend. If so, I will be there. But either way, we'll see. I said I need a nap though. I didn't tell him that, but I should have. But on that note, Chad, any final cues? Any final questions? Otherwise, it's game time. It's game time. Powell, you're going to have a lot of moves tomorrow. A lot of people asking if it's leaked. And then the big one. So rest up, baby. God bless America. Thank you to the vets. Finger to the sky, baby. Have a wonderful evening. Have a good night rest. And peace out. Horna.